right. So let's start with the Unity interface. Okay, is that okay? Okay. So when you open Unity, it usually it's not like this. You'll see there are different panels like scene, console, hierarchy. So when you first open it, it's not like this. They're arranged differently. So I suggest you arrange them like this. This is a good arrangement. 1 second, I got some mistake. Okay. 1 second, sorry about that. I just want where's the project? Yeah, sorry, I made a mistake here. I deleted. Sorry, I deleted the project panel here. Let me see 1 second. Yes, so must be this one. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so in the top left corner here, you can see that's the scene panel. So here you can see I have this is a 2D platformer, basic controls for a 2D platformer. And here you can see all the objects in the scene. The black stuff above here, that's the UI, so the user interface. And you have different tools, like you can, for example, let's select the player. You have this tool here, you can move it on one axis. You see, so you can choose to move this only on one axis with this. And you have the same for rotation and size. You can resize and rotate in here. Then you have the game panel here in the left bottom. And this is where you simulate the game. You play the game in this panel by pressing the play button here on the top. And I also have here a simulator. This is for if you make a game for a phone, for Android, you want to simulate a phone with this. But this is a project for computers, not phones. You have the console panel here. In here, you can see errors from your scripts. So when you play the game and you have an error, it will be shown here in the console. And you can also show your own messages, so you can debug your code here. And then you have the hierarchy. Here you have here on the top, this is the name of the scene. And then these are the objects in the scene, all the objects in this scene. You have the project panel. Here you have all your assets. And you see that I organize them. So I have a folder for animations, prefabs. So prefabs are basically objects that you save and then you can use later. Scenes, scripts, settings, sprites. So this is organized. And then the inspector here below the hierarchy, this is where you see the properties of an object. Okay. And let's go through some properties, right? So this here is the main camera. So this is for into the basically can zoom in or out with this. This basically displays everything in the scene, and then in this case, you also have lighting, but I don't use. I just let it be with the default settings. So you basically, when you create a 2D project, it can be the standard one without lighting, or the URP, so Universal Render Pipeline, which has lighting. Okay, so you have a 2D with lighting and without lighting. So you have to choose that when you create the project. And let's look at the player 1 second, because this object here, the player, has a very important properties. So you see here, this is the name of the object. This checkbox here, you can enable and disable objects with this. The tag here is basically a category. You can create categories for objects. And this here, the layer, this is this layer is the physics layer. So you can have different layers for physics, so that you can enable and disable interactions between objects. But I don't use it in this project. Then all objects except the UI come with this transform. So this basically is the position, the rotation, and the scale. So position meaning where exactly in this space it is, and in 2D we ignore the Z. So we only use the X and Y for the position. Rotation. This also we don't use the. Oh, actually we do. Okay, so we use everything X, Y, and Z actually. And the scale meaning the size. This is the size, and we ignore the Z in this case because it's a 2D game. And you can see here that these are all components. So components meaning you add properties to it. This is the script I made. So this is the controls. I'll show you in a second. But we have the sprite renderer. So this one displays a sprite, so an image. And usually you want to leave the color white when it is already colored like this, you see. Because if you try to change it to another color, it will look weird, you see. You only modify this when you're working with black and white sprites or gray shades of gray. Then you can modify the colors and it will look good. But if it is already colored, you leave it white. And then you have the flip. You can flip it on an axis. You see, make it look towards the other side. Or you can play use the Y. This is usually when you have like you want to reverse gravity or something. You see. And then the draw mode, this is also, so if it is like this, it's just the image itself, but if you use tiles, then you see you can use it as a, if you have terrain and you want to use tiles, you can use this property here. Right. I won't go into materials, but here, this is important, where it says sorting layer, so this one here. With this, you can put sprites. You can put a sprite on top of another. So let me demonstrate that. I'll make a square. So we have this white square here, and right now you see it is below the player. You see, it is below. But if I go here and modify that property like that, it is above the player. So basically, the sorting layer is the layer, and then the ordering layer here is basically a sub layer of that layer. So you can have layers and then sub layers if you make a complex game that requires layers. Okay. Then we have the animator. This is for animations, and I will actually show you in 2D. There are two ways to make animations. One is in this case for the player. We have the individual sprites of the animation. So you see, let me see, sprites. Okay, so you see here I have the, but why does it not show me? Wait, I made a mistake here. I clicked something and now it's not showing the images, but doesn't matter. You see here I have each frame for the animation. So I just drag and drop this here, and this here, this sample here, that the speed of the animation. So if you increase it, it's faster. If you lower it, it's slower. And that's how one way to make animations. But let me show you, or you can actually move, change a property. So you see this button here at property. You can modify almost any property from the object over time here, and you can record this button, but I won't go into that now. So that those are the two ways basically. You have the sprites of the animation, or you modify some properties like the position, rotation, stuff like that. Usually when you have a character that is made from parts, so you want to animate the individual parts of a character. But let's look at the animator here, because you see this, the player has the animator component. So this is used for managing animations because actually let me play the scene once so you know what the scene is. So in this we can just move, you see, jump, and then you have a trail effect that you can enable. Okay. So in here we manage those animations, and you can see we have the idle, run, and jump animations, and the lines here between them, these are transitions. And on these transitions, we have certain conditions that enable them, right? So for example, we created here 2 parameters. So these are like variables, you know. So this is an int here, jump count. With this we count how many jumps, and when you touch the platform, it resets. And this is a bool here, so true or false is running. So we know if it is running. And you can see from idle to run, we have here in the bottom right corner the condition. So if it's running is true, then we go to the run animation. And we also have a transition the other way. So we go from run to idle if it's false. So these are conditions that we use. We modify these parameters in scripts to enable these animations in the animator. Let's see, and then we have another important, actually 2 important components. One is the box collider. So this one is a collider. So this is for physics or interaction between objects. In this case, it is for physics. So when the player touches the platform, it doesn't go through it. Okay. You only need to know one thing about this. These colliders can be with physics or without physics. So this here where it says is trigger, if we click on this, then the player should fall to the platform. So let me show you. So with this you disable physics basically. So it's a collider without physics. So right now you see it falls to the platform. That's everything you need to know. And then the rigid body, this one gives physics to the object. And you see here it says body type, dynamic. So this means it has gravity and mass, and also it will interact with other objects that have colliders or physics. And you see you have 3 options here. You can say it's dynamic, so like I said, and then kinematic, meaning it will move only by script, so meaning it will not interact with other objects when it touches other objects. And then static means just it is not moving at all. And I'm not sure when you use this actually. And then you can also freeze position or rotation. So in this case, you see I have the rotation frozen because sometimes if you touch something, you can make it the player rotate, and I don't want that. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. This one gives physics, and you see it says rigid body 2D, but for 3D you have another one. It's just rigid body without 2D. And then I have here a script for the trail, and please you can ask questions if you have questions. But let me show you a couple of things about the interface before we go into coding. So let's say you have the game completed and you want to build it so that you can share it and play it. You go here into the build profiles, so file, build profiles, and you see in here you have all the scenes that you want in your game. And here the first one is the one that is played when you start the game. So this is the scene that appears when you start the game. And then here you see you can change platform. So you can make the game for Windows, Linux, Android, iOS, and others like PlayStation You can even do it for virtual reality, but I'm not sure how to do that. So this is, so you select the platform, your scenes, and then you can just go here and so you go to your platform and you see you have this option. So right now the Windows is active, you see, and you just click build and it will create the game. Do you have any questions so far? All right. Then we'll look into some other important things in the interface. One is, so you go to edit project settings. So the first thing here, you see it, not editor, sorry, what is the code editor actually? There should be a code editor somewhere in here. Yes, somewhere. Yeah, I'm not sure where it is, but you can actually change your editor here. So the code editor, you can have whatever code editor you want, but I can find it. So here, this here is important, the physics 2D. So like I said, you can have physics layers. So in other words, you can interact, you can enable or disable the interactions between objects. These are the default ones, but you see, for example, let's say we don't want UI to interact with itself. So you click this one. So now it's disabled. So here you can disable interactions. And I'm curious, where is that options to change the editor? I'm not sure where that is. Oh, in here. So those are the project settings. You have to go to preferences. And in here, you see external tools. So I use the Visual Studio community you see here, but you can use any editor as long as it has the Unity stuff. You can use any editor. So this is where you change that. Let's say you want to import some assets. You go here to Window, Package Manager, and these are assets from the Unity Asset Store only. So you have, and you also can install some tools from Unity that are not already in game. So let's say you want to record the game from the Unity. So that there are tools for that here in the Unity registry. But for some reason it's loading very slowly. So this button is for, you see, search Unity registry, but the assets from the Unity store are here. You just download them, you click this, and then there will be a import button. You just click import, and you can import anything from here. Let's see. Yeah, you can create objects in the scene like this. You click right click, and you can put objects in the scene like this. So that's the interface. Let's go into coding, I guess. If you don't have questions, I'll go into coding, and I have to ask, do you know the C# stuff, or should I go straight into Unity stuff? Yes, just the basics, but should I discuss C# or also the Unity coding? Okay. There's not much there is not much I can say about C#, but I'll go through it. And if you want, if it is okay, then we'll go into Unity as well. Okay, so I will start with the C# and then we'll see. Okay. Okay, then I'll go to both just to be sure. Um, so let's go to our player here and look at the. Actually, I will first explain the basics. Sorry. So we'll just make an empty script and discuss the basics. There is a lot to talk about, but I'll try to cover everything that is important. Okay. It loads slowly because it is not just opening one script, it's opening all the scripts. So, like I said, we'll start with C# stuff. So discuss. Oh, you see, I have an empty script here. That's good. Okay. So let's discuss. I think you know this stuff, but I will go through it just to be sure. Okay. So you have int variables. So int are basically whole numbers. Okay. You have float, which these are real numbers, so with decimals. Okay, so we first specify the type of the variable, and then the name. Give it a name. We also have a string. So this is text. You also have a char. So this is like a letter, just one letter, or a character, not a letter. The characters can be anything. Let's see what else. Bool. So this is true or false, or if statements usually. And let's see. Let's talk arrays. But before that, let me show you something. So this here, if you write them like this, these are private, meaning you cannot see them in the inspector, and also you cannot access them from another script. And you can see public like this, and this means you can see this in the inspector and modify it. And also you can access this from other scripts. By default, it is private. That's what you need to know. Let's discuss arrays. I think you know what an array is. I don't have to. Do you know what an array is? If not, I can explain. You know, okay. So in C#, an array is like this. You say int, and then you add brackets like this, and now it's an array. So this is an array, but right now it is empty. This. Excuse me a second. So like this, you create an array in the memory, and it can be of any type. In this case, it's an int, but it can be anything. And you usually use arrays when you know how many objects you need, right? But there are cases. So arrays basically have a fixed amount of values, right, inside it. But sometimes you don't know how many values you need, and for that you use lists. Okay, so, and now I'll use the start function from Unity. So what this is whatever you put in here inside happens once at the beginning of the existence of the object with this script. Okay. So when you want to actually create the array, so right now this is just the space in the memory. It's empty, this variable. You just say a new, and then you specify how long this array should be, right? You give it a length. And you can access that length by saying array that length like this. You can actually access that the length. And for lists, you have to create it first. So to create that is different. You just say new list int like that, and this will create an empty list, so with no values inside it. And usually you want to add and remove from this. So to add, you just say int list add, and then give it a value. And you can also use remove. Okay, so that's for lists. Okay. Let's look at the for statement. So for more than that, I will explain in a second. So this is a for statement, meaning usually use this when you want to repeat a process for a certain amount of times, and usually you know how many times you want to repeat this. So in this case, this will happen 10 times, right, from 0 to 9, because it's still too smaller. So from 0 to 9, that's 10. And then plus plus, meaning you increase it by 1. So what this does is it does the stuff in here. Okay, it's 0, does the stuff, increases by 1. It's 1, does the stuff, increases by 1. But this condition here at the end, so this is the variable that we use for this for. Okay, then we have the condition. This is the condition when the for stops, and at the end here you modify it in some way, that variable. And also it's important to note that this int here exists only in the for. It does not exist outside. So when the for ends, this variable disappears as well. It will not be in the memory. And also, so let's say we want to increase this by 2. We say just plus equal to. So you can modify it in any way, this variable. So in this case, if you increase it by 2, then this will not happen 10 times. It will happen only 5 times, right? So that's a for. But you also have a for each. Let's say so if you do this like this for each int I in array, we go from 0 to the length of the array. So with this you go through every value of an array or a list. So that's another way. While statement, so whatever you put in here happens while the condition inside here is true. So let's say from bool is true. Okay, and you can combine conditions, like let's say that int is true. So you can combine, this means and you can combine two conditions. So this will be true if both are true, but you can also have the or operator. You see, this or operator means this is true, the whole thing is true if one of them is true, not both. Okay, so this is the or operator. So this happens while that condition is true. Then you also have do. Do I believe, yes, something like that. Why is that not? You have do while, I don't know how to write it, but this basically what it does is you do whatever you do it once without verifying the condition. So you can do that. I don't know the syntax for it. And then you have if statements like that. If a condition, and also I want to mention here at this while, this is also the same thing if you just use the bool. So this and this is the same. Okay, and then for statement the same, you just give it a condition and whatever is inside here, it will happen. And then you can say else after this. So If this is false, in other words, then we do something else. And you also have else if. Else if. Else if. So else if means the condition from the if was false, and also you give it another condition. Yeah. Okay. What else can I say? So that's the basic stuff you need for C#. I don't think there's anything else I can tell you about C#. So if you want, we can go to the Unity stuff. If you want, I can explain how this scene works. If you want. Maybe I should explain actually functions first before we get into the Unity stuff. Oh, I see. Okay, I see. Well, that's okay. We can discuss later if you have time today. Okay. Well, will you be free in like 2 hours or something like that? Okay, then we'll continue. We'll continue when you're free. Not a problem. All right.